This looks like nowhere, but beneath this dirt sits one of the deadliest forces on Earth. The Minuteman III ICBM can devastate a target across the globe in under 30 minutes. But its true power isn't in its launch. It's in the silent signals it sends to adversaries, warning today is not the day. And the 90th Security Forces Group makes sure it stays that way.
Missile field security is all about nuclear deterrence.
Our adversaries see that every day and say, not today.
Securing Minuteman nuclear missiles doesn't just take guards with guns. It takes 1,367 security forces personnel, from highly trained tactical responders to elite canine handlers. And many of them are barely old enough to rent a car.
We have very young airmen who have a great responsibility to maintain the security of our nation's most important weapons.
My name is Naveed Jamali. I'm a veteran, a former spy, and the only journalist to film all three legs of America's nuclear triad. On Unconventional, it is my honor to witness the passing of the torch, to tell the stories of the young women and men who serve in a changing world, and a military balancing tradition and change. In our second episode covering America's ICBMs, I'm spending 36 hours with the defenders of F.E. Warren Air Force Base to see how they patrol 9,600 square miles and protect over 100 Minuteman missiles from the ground and from the air. Because guarding ICBMs means more than protecting weapons. It's a deterrence mission that maintains global peace day in and day out.
In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the left.
Pulling up to the visitor parking lot at F.E. Warren Air Force Base, it's immediately clear that surveillance is no joke.
So we're not even at the base yet, and there's just a sense of security is pretty tight. People see a bunch of cameras and they freaked out, so they called into security. So, listen, man, it's nuclear missiles. You want them to take security pretty seriously, right?
The Air Force's oldest continuously active military installation is not only home to around 150 ICBMs, but also the branch's largest security forces group. Getting on base required extensive background checks, months of planning, a comprehensive footage review, and even a canine inspection.
This is a unique type of patrol. All of this is about sort of a show of force to deter an adversary from acting.
Correct. Having a dog, we have patrol capabilities. He is trained to bite people, so that is a deterrent that we can use.
One of the many deterrents deployed 24/7 at F.E. Warren, where 6 security squadrons are constantly on guard.
Our mission is to deny unauthorized access to nuclear weapons, and should it be gained, to immediately use everything that we have to get it back immediately.
To see what that looks like, we are driving 90 minutes north to Camp Guernsey, where airmen are practicing for one of the worst case scenarios imaginable, a seized nuclear site. In the shoot house, the Tactical Response Force simulates retaking that site, clearing rooms, breaching doors, and neutralizing the threat.
Right now they're working on going through the shoot house, clearing each room, each building, safely and quickly as possible to protect the lives of others.
There's a lot of things that go into close quarters battle. Speed, surprise, violence of actions are 3 things we try and keep with us, violence of action being the main one.
What does it feel like to be responsible for protecting such an important strategic asset?
That's why we're out here training. It's a big responsibility for sure. We don't take it lightly, and that's what makes this training so good, is it's real to us. Could be any day we have to use it, so that's why we lock in.
It feels really good, to come out here and train, because I love to train, so I signed up for it.
These airmen train to expect the unexpected, and that means that they could have to respond to a threat hundreds of miles away at the drop of a hat. The missile complex is spread out over 3 states. But F.E. Warren is the hub, home to the 90th Missile Wing, which oversees all 150 launch facilities.
When we think about the three legs of the triad, air, sub, now we're on land-based.
Right.
There is something that is uniquely different about a land-based missile than the other two. Most specifically, it doesn't move.
It doesn't. They're fixed, we know where they're at, so that's an advantage. The backside of that is they're scattered out over 9,600 square miles, which requires our defenders to drive about 4 million miles a year. You know, the bombers certainly have their advantages and disadvantages, subs have their advantages and disadvantages, but this is the anchor. The enemy has to account for these all the time.
The vast distance between missiles is both a shield and an obstacle. Today, I'm getting a bird's eye view of how that land is secured during one of the most sensitive operations in the US military: the transfer of a nuclear component to the missile field.
When we move nuclear weapons, it's highly planned, highly orchestrated.
It actually requires a lot of precision and to an extent, perfection.
Transporting a warhead back out to a missile site after maintenance requires a heavily armed convoy on the ground, and Hueys carrying 30 caliber machine guns overhead. I'm flying in one of those birds today to see firsthand how they shield a nuclear weapon from the sky.
While we might be doing training and currency flights, we're also always ready. So if there's certain irregularities, if you will, happen across the missile field, we've had people that go there right away.
Deterrence is based on capability, credibility, and communication, and we fall into every single one of those facets. For capability, we provide armed escort, we provide airborne fire teams, we provide the capability to go farther and see farther than any of the security forces on the ground.
From the ground, this might look like a traffic delay, but from here, I can see what it really is. Some of the most dangerous cargo in America driving along the interstate, just like the rest of us. Kind of. The warhead is shielded from every angle, with security forces closing off parts of the highway to allow the convoy to pass through. But on the other side of the median, traffic keeps moving, totally uninterrupted, as the highly classified nuclear component hides in plain sight. The missile component is delivered to a heavily guarded launch facility that appears to be in the middle of nowhere. Not another building around for miles.
We have two payload transporters out here. One put on the missile guidance set, which is basically the brain of the missile, and then now they're putting on the warhead.
The choreography is practice, the execution is flawless, and the stakes are high.
There's no wiggle room, nothing. You need to be doing it by the book, or else you can harm yourself or harm your team members.
The transfer is a success. The missile component is safely underground, sealed inside one of the most lethal weapon systems. Above ground, security forces begin to head back to base. Once they clear out, there's no visible presence. But that doesn't mean no one is watching. These silos are constantly being monitored by land and air patrols, as well as remote systems. The flying is incredible. The Huey cutting through the high winds with unmatched agility. But what strikes me is the absolute vastness that surrounds these launch facilities. Roads are sparse, buildings even more so. Touching back down at F.E. Warren, it's clear why these helicopters are absolutely vital.
Because of the great distance from the facilities, it's really important that if there's an emergency, that they can respond quickly. And normally that means inserting TRF, or the Tactical Response Forces.
The mission is also a reminder that while this deterrence game can never end, it's constantly evolving.
It's pretty cool to actually get a chance to fly in the UH-1N. This is a helicopter that's transitioning out.
The Air Force is phasing out the aging Huey, replacing it with a faster, stronger, more modern MH-139 Grey Wolf. But the mission isn't changing. just like Minuteman III is set to be replaced by the next generation Sentinel missile, the same responsibility stands above all else.
America demands security of its nuclear weapons, and it demands that we maintain that capability.
That mission isn't just a job, it's a calling.
Never, ever gets old. It's one of the most rewarding jobs that I've ever had.
There's just so much that goes into it, and I just love every second of it.
At an average age of 23.7, many of the airmen are only a few years out of high school, but they're trained, trusted, and ready. Across the missile wing, these young men and women are the foundation.
You love being an American, you love the freedom that we have. This ICBM is literally the anchor. It underpins everything else that's going on out there.
We want the adversaries, potential adversaries, to know where we're at every day, all the time.
To some, this might look like flyover country, but to our adversary, it's a grid of targets they must constantly account for.
Americans sleeping well at night means that we're doing our job. That means that our nuclear deterrence is working.
Their job is to train for worst-case scenarios so that the rest of us never have to live through them. In the barren plains of mid-America, these young airmen remind our adversaries that today is not the day. Through every patrol, convoy, and security flight, they hold the line between peace and catastrophe.